For 6 months, a casino lost millions of dollars, and no one noticed. No alarms were triggered, no vaults were breached, no masked criminals ran through the casino floor. In fact, the cameras showed nothing unusual at all. Yet somewhere inside the system of one of America's most secure casinos, money was disappearing quietly, patiently, and deliberately. And the only reason it ever stopped, it was because of a single mistake. A coffee receipt. For months, everything looked normal. Daily revenue reports matched expectations, slot machines performed within acceptable ranges, customer payouts raised no red flags. But beneath the surface, something was wrong. Small amounts of money were vanishing. $20 here, $45 there. Never enough to trigger an alert. Individually insignificant, collectively devastating. By the time anyone realized what was happening, more than $3 million had quietly disappeared. Security teams assumed an external attack. They reviewed surveillance footage, nothing. They checked access logs, nothing. They audited employee accounts and vendor systems, still nothing. There were no signs of forced entry, no digital break-ins, no obvious fraud signatures. Whoever was responsible hadn't broken into the casino. They were already inside. Investigators eventually uncovered the method. The thief hadn't stolen cash directly. Instead, internal payout software had been subtly altered. Fractional overpayments, tiny amounts invisible to customers, were redirected from select slot machines into prepaid cards and dormant digital accounts. The machines still paid players correctly. The system still appeared balanced. The theft was slow, precise, and almost impossible to detect. It required deep knowledge of casino infrastructure, the kind of knowledge only an insider would have. And for months, it worked flawlessly. Until one man noticed something that had nothing to do with money. Daniel Reyes wasn't part of the security or IT team. He was a compliance analyst, a former math teacher whose job was to review internal records and ensure compliance. One evening, he was reviewing cafeteria expense reports, routine paperwork, boring, the kind of thing most people ignored. That's when he noticed a staff badge accessing the employee cafe repeatedly, always between 2 and 3 in the morning. At first, it didn't seem unusual. But when he checked the employee database, something didn't add up. The badge ID didn't exist. No human resources file, no payroll record, no termination notice. Yet the system showed dozens of transactions. Each one is tied to the same name, M. Calder. Security initially assumed the badge had been cloned, but cloned badges don't behave like this. This badge ordered the same thing every time. Black coffee, no sugar, and it always received a staff discount. That discount required manual activation by a system administrator, which meant one thing: the badge wasn't stolen, it was authorized. When investigators searched older personnel archives, the name surfaced: Marcus Calder. A former senior systems engineer was laid off 2 years earlier during a software consolidation. Official records showed his access had been revoked, but one administrator profile, created years earlier, had never been removed, and it still carried his credentials. Calder hadn't hacked the casino. He had simply never left the system. He never accessed the network remotely. He never triggered alarms. He worked quietly during maintenance windows, disguising activity as diagnostics. The casino wasn't being robbed. It was being slowly redirected. And Calder made one fatal assumption: that no one would ever care about coffee receipts. When confronted, Calder didn't deny anything. He didn't run. He didn't argue. According to court records, he calmly explained that casino systems were designed to extract money invisibly from gamblers who never noticed the odds working against them. He believed he was simply reversing the flow. The court disagreed. Calder was charged with wire fraud, computer intrusion, and grand larceny. only a fraction of the stolen money was ever recovered. The rest had already vanished. For 6 months, the crime was nearly perfect. No cameras, no witnesses, no alarms. What ended it wasn't technology, it wasn't greed, it was routine, a nightly habit, a printed receipt, a name that didn't belong. Casinos invest billions in surveillance, artificial intelligence, and security systems. But sometimes the smallest details matter most, because no system is flawless, and no plan, no matter how perfect, can escape human behavior. In the end, one of the most sophisticated casino thefts ever uncovered wasn't undone by software. It was undone by coffee and a receipt that refused to disappear.